Oui, Mr. Chair, merci à tous et toutes pour vos présentations très intéressantes. Maire Gaudin, croyez-vous que nous avons en réalité une possibilité d'avoir un projet de société dans chaque coin de province afin de faire la transition vers une société à net zéro carbone?
Bonjour, M. Cohn. Yvan Godin, président de l'Association francophone des municipalités. Je dois vous dire que oui, le travail qui se fait de façon individuelle dans chacune des régions des municipalités va fort probablement aider beaucoup, mais le risque qu'on risque de voir, c'est qu'on travaille trop en vase clos actuellement. Chacun essaie d'aller de l'avant de des projets, par exemple le transport en commun, tous les systèmes d'énergie verte. Mais il faut absolument qu'au niveau de la province, qu'on ait une coordination qui fait en sorte qu'on ne fasse pas des travails à répétition et que finalement, on arrive au même résultat. Cette coordination, par exemple, au niveau du transport, qu'on peut travailler chacun chez nous, mais il faut qu'il y ait quelqu'un qui coordonne finalement l'accès à un transport régional, c'est-à-dire avoir accès aux trains, aux autobus, et pas rester seulement dans nos régions. Et que ce soit pour l'énergie verte aussi. Donc, on a définitivement besoin, il y a des projets qui ont été faits. C'est le financement qui est le problème en grande partie. On aurait besoin beaucoup plus d'aide au niveau financier. Et quand on n'a pas les ressources humaines non plus pour le faire, ça devient plus difficile. Le fait qu'avec la réforme, que nos municipalités seront un peu plus grandes, un peu plus grosses, ça nous permettra sans doute d'être capable d'aller plus loin. On est sur la bonne piste, mais on a besoin d'une coordination forte de la province avec, bien sûr, des ressources financières.
Afin d'assurer la coordination forte, avez-nous les institutions nécessaires de lancer ce projet de société comme ça? Maintenant, nous avons des institutions juste comme le secrétariat sur le changement climatique dans le ministère de l'Environnement, mais au niveau provincial, c'est tout.
Définitivement, il nous manque beaucoup d'aide, beaucoup de soutien. On sent que le gouvernement est là, mais je pense qu'on peut pas rester seulement sous un ministère ou sous finalement une forme de comité. Il faut élaborer, il faut aller beaucoup plus loin. Mais les changements climatiques, la gestion des gaz à effet de serre est tellement important, mais il faudrait qu'on puisse développer d'autres secteurs sur lesquels on pourrait travailler. Et vraiment les travailler de façon efficace. C'est-à-dire, si on parle d'énergie renouvelable, je pense qu'il faut qu'il y ait au niveau de la province des décisions importantes qui soient prises. Si on parle de transport en commun, il faut qu'il y ait des décisions importantes qui soient prises. On sent l'ouverture. Et lorsqu'on sent aussi de la gestion du territoire, avec tous les règlements qui s'en viennent avec la réforme, ça va permettre peut-être qu'on ait quelque chose qui va être similaire à la grandeur de la province. Donc, il faut vraiment se concerter à travailler dans tous ces secteurs-là pour arriver à avoir un succès efficace.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire. So, Mayor Lorgan, maybe I can get you to comment on it as well. My sense is, if this is a societal project like we've really not seen for a long time, in fact, you hear often that the world is having to make the most profound transformation over the next 10 years that we've ever seen collectively. And so if we're going to launch that kind of transition effectively in New Brunswick, the question is, do we have the institutions so we can work effectively together? And if not, have you got some suggestions about what could be put in place to provide that strong coordination, as Mayor Gaudin said?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mr. Kuhn. And, I think to Mayor Gaudin's point, we can do this and we must do this together. So we need to figure it out. And I mean, what we touched on in the presentation was an increase in resources financially, but also in coordinating our efforts and in that human capacity. So, whether we have the secretariat in place, perhaps it would require to be more robust. And I think as you said, it's a global issue and a global challenge that we must address locally and work and hope that everyone else will in their local as well. But we know, informing myself from our greenhouse reduction plan here in the city of Miramichi, we need to reduce emissions through vehicles and through buildings. So that would be an important area to address financial programs, for example. So whether that is in regard to electric vehicles, encouraging people to take transit and having the provincial government contribute to the operations of transit commissions, for example, within our cities that have those, because that is one of the ways everybody's looking to reduce emissions, and they're the same emissions. So we need to coordinate the efforts to do that. So I know in smaller municipalities, it's that resource effort of synchronizing the plans and then having the extra resources in place to help us make sure that we're doing that work. Again, whether the structures exist at present now, I guess maybe I feel I'm not the best to speak to that, but I do know that they would need to be more robust in terms of the resources provided to all of us. And I feel compelled to mention as well to private industry. So when we look at how will we achieve the net zero by 2050 in our climate change plan in Miramichi, which I'm sure is similar to other municipalities in the province, we have to do that as an organization, as a municipality. We need homeowners to do their part, and we need the business and commercial and industrial sectors to do the same. So just to be mindful that as government, it would be our role, I would believe, to help ensure that business is meeting their emissions as well, and in some cases working with them also. So structures, I'm not sure, but certainly a more coordinated effort and additional resource to help us all stay on track will be required.
Thank you. I agree with you. If in fact is truly a societal project, un projet de société, we have to have all hands on deck. That's why I was thinking about the institutional arrangements that we have, and we've heard other speakers say that our institutions and regulatory regimes, as you and some of the others have pointed out with regards to community renewable energy projects, are not aligned with this yet, and which is understandable. But to make it go well, I think that some good thinking around what kind of institutional arrangements do we need to put in place. It sounds abstract, but it really is the bricks and mortar of how to have everyone involved across the province. And I must thank you for also mentioning the difficulty in initiating community-based renewable energy projects in municipalities. I try and tour the province and meet mayors and community members twice a year, although COVID has made that a bit more difficult. But a couple of tours back, I couldn't believe the number of mayors around the province, in every corner of the province, who expressed utter frustration about proposals they put together for municipally operated or run community renewable energy projects, and they just hit a brick wall. One after another after another. I was so many. There were so many. It was on the one hand shocked that there were so many, but on the other hand very pleased that leadership was coming from our municipalities of all sizes. Really, it was fascinating, and I thought something's got to be done about this. Let me just ask in the waning time here about one piece of this, which I think everyone, Mayor Gaudin and you as well, and Mr. Murphy mentioned, and that is public transit, public transportation. So in terms of the collaboration that's required, the Minister of Transportation tells me that they're working, that being the province, on some kind of public transportation strategy across some number of departments. So have they engaged with your organizations on this? Maybe you could start, Mayor Lord, and we could go to Mr. Gaudin and Mr. Murphy.
Sure. Thank you. And just to your point, quickly, I'd like to mention in talking to colleagues in Nova Scotia and PEI, municipalities of all sizes, they are so much further ahead. Like I was at a mayor's congress in the fall, and even in very small communities, they have these amazing green energy projects that are now out the door and working and making a big difference in reducing emissions in their communities. And we did have those shovel-ready projects, I remember a few years ago, NB Power did a call-up, but they were only going to choose 2. And I can't remember why they wouldn't have empowered more communities and choose everybody that could have fit the criteria. But to answer your question, we continue to advocate to the government for provincial government to contribute to operational funding of our transit systems in our municipalities. That was in a COVID context and in general, because it's such a crucial part of reducing emissions in our communities. We are working, our association is working with government now on one particular project, which I don't want to say too much about in case I'm not supposed to. So we are in conversation, and we're advocating for more provincial involvement, both in terms of the infrastructure piece, fleet renewal. Of course, we know that electrification is a key part of this, and those buses are more expensive. But also, we think there's a part for the province to play as a partner in the capital side as well as an operational side if we're going to meet those emission targets through transit.
I think my time is up, but if either of the other mayors, Mr. Gaudin or Mr. Murphy, avez-vous un commentaire?
Merci. Moi, j'aimerais ajouter que quelques années passées, on pensait que c'était impossible d'avoir du transport en commun dans des régions rurales. Donc, c'était surtout lié au transport en commun dans les régions urbaines. Maintenant, on le sait, on est convaincu, on a fait des études, et c'est possible dans les milieux ruraux d'avoir un transport en commun. C'est-à-dire, dans la péninsule acadienne, il y a à peu près 50 000 personnes, et on est en train de mettre en place un système de transport en commun efficace. Et c'est jamais rentable à 100%, vous le savez bien. Mais si on veut réduire l'empreinte, il faut mettre les efforts dedans. On a besoin d'aide du gouvernement pour le faire. Les municipalités ont signé et ont dit qu'ils étaient prêts à contribuer financièrement un grand montant d'argent pour le mettre en place. Donc, il faut penser que cette réalité au niveau de l'efficacité de l'énergie verte, elle se produit aussi du côté rural. Et la province devrait travailler encore plus à rejoindre le côté urbain et rural grâce à ces moyens de transport-là. Donc, aujourd'hui, on le sait que c'est possible et que ça peut être efficace.
Merci.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kuhn. Mr. Austin, the floor is yours.